of history. How do we know about our past or history? We know about our past or history through sources. What are sources? Sources are evidences which prove about the past or which proves that this thing happened in the past or in history. Now, when we talk about sources, we have different types of sources. First is archaeological sources and the second one is literary sources. Now, before moving towards archaeological sources, we need to understand the meaning of archaeology. So, let us understand about the archaeology. What is archaeology? So, archaeology is basically the study of the human past though material remains. Means when we got to know about the past through the evidences of materials. Materials means something which is physically present. So, this is what archaeology deals with. Now, what is the process of archaeology? Means how archaeologists do archaeology. So, first, planned or accidental excavation or mound. Now, what is this mound? Mound is slightly uplifted portion of the land. This is what we call as mound. So, archaeologists, people who study about the archaeology are known as archaeologists. So, the people who study about the archaeology found mounds. So, these mounds sometimes they planned for the excavation and sometimes they accidentally found these mounds. Now, after finding the mound, second step is collecting and labeling the object. Once they started digging out the soil, layer by layer they dig out the soil and they found different materials of different time period. So, by collecting those materials, they label the object. After labeling it, they identify and analyze its time period, means the dating the object. Now, how archaeologists know that this material or this object belongs to specific time period? It is because of the carbon dating, or we also call it as carbon-14 dating. Now, what is this carbon-14 dating? Carbon-14 dating is a chemical formula or procedure through which archaeologists can analyze and identify the time period of specific object which they found through the excavation. Now, after finding out the time period of that particular object, they interpret about that object, whether the object is toy or whether the object is jewelry or something else. Now we understand about the archaeological sources. As I have already explained the meaning of archaeology, now you know this, that the things which lie buried in the ground is what known as archaeological sources. Now, the archaeologists dig these mounds and find things, as I have explained in the procedure also. There are four kinds of archaeological sources. First one is sites. Sites belongs to place. Second is monuments. Third is coins. And the fourth one is inscriptions. Now, let's understand these one by one. First, sites. Places where material remains of the past are found. That is what we call as site. Now, buried towns, cities, skeleton remains, toys, these all can be found through a site. For example, you can see here, it is an image of Harappan civilization, Indus Valley civilization, and this particular image is from the Mohenjo-daro. So, Mohenjo-daro is a site, is an archaeological site from where the archaeologists have found this old city. Now, you can see here the image of toy. Now, this toy archaeologists have found from the archaeological site of Harappan civilization. The next is monument. Building of historical importance. Building of historical importance is what we call as monuments. And students, please remember one thing. The structure or the historical structure which completes 100 years can be only called as monument. The structure which has not completed 100 years or the building, historical building which has not completed the 100 years cannot be called as monument. The monument can be called, we can call the monument to the historical building which has completed 100 years. So, the historical temples, tombs, caves, forts, these are all monuments. As you can see here, this is the image of temple, this is the image of tomb, this is the image of cave, and this is the image of fort. These are all monuments. Third one is coins. Now, you must be thinking, what is this numismatics? Numismatics is the study of coins. So, the study of coins is known as numismatic, and the people who study about the coins were known as numismatists. Then we talk about the coins, about the ancient coins, because in this year we are dealing or we are going to study with the ancient Indian history. So when we talk about the ancient Indian coins, we have found number of coins, and those coins were found in different types of metals like copper, bronze, silver and gold. We also have found the coins of iron. The fourth one is inscriptions. When we talk about inscriptions, what is this epigraphy? Epigraphy, similarly we have studied in the case of coins, epigraphy is the branch which deals with inscriptions. So, it is the study of inscriptions. And similarly, the people who study about the inscriptions are known as epigraphists. Now, these inscriptions are written on hard surfaces like copper plates, rocks and stone pillars. As you can see here, this image, it is an inscription of Ashoka. So, it is written on a hard surface, on a rock. Now, when we talk about inscriptions, we have found number of different scripts. Like there were different types of scripts in the ancient India, in which we have found different languages also, like the script we were having Brahmi script, we were having Kharosti script, and based on that we have different languages also, like Sanskrit, Pali, Prakrit. These are different languages which we have found from the ancient Indian inscriptions. Okay, now when we talk about Harappan script, Harappan scripts are some of the examples of the inscriptions where archaeologists are still in a dilemma because they are unable to decode those scripts. So, we have found number of inscriptions from ancient Indian history, but that doesn't mean that all inscriptions are deciphered or decoded. Many of them are yet to be deciphered and many of them are completely destroyed, or we can say the script which is written on the inscriptions are faded. So, archaeologists are unable to interpret through those inscriptions that what is written on it. Now, after that, after the archaeological sources, we will understand about the literary sources. When we talk about literary, what comes in our mind? Writing, literature. So, yes, literary sources deal with written sources. So, literary sources are basically what we are talking about, written sources. Earlier, we have understood about archaeological sources, where we have seen different types of physical or the materialistic things. But here in literary sources, we will understand about the written sources, manuscripts or handwritten text. So, manuscripts, the word Manu is a Latin word which means hand. So it is clearly indicating that handwritten sources or handwritten. So handwritten text or manuscripts in the earlier times were prepared on a bark of tree, which we also call as a palm leaf. Here you can see the image. This is the image of manuscript which is written on a palm leaf. In the earlier times, when we have seen the starting phase of literary sources, there we have found almost all written sources on a palm leaf or on a manuscript. These manuscripts survived, but these survived in temples and in the monasteries. Rest manuscripts we didn't found. The common, if there were any common manuscripts which was circulated among the common people, or which was circulated not in the temples or not in the monasteries, that were not found. We have found only the manuscripts which were available in the temples and the monasteries. Now, when we talk about manuscripts, there are two types of written sources. First is religious manuscripts or books, and the second one is secular book. When we talk about religious manuscripts, religious, what comes in your mind when we say religious? Religious, which is related to religion. So we have many written records, or we have many literary sources where we have found about the religion of that time period. Like for example, Vedas, epics, two epics, very famous epics, Mahabharata and Ramayana. These are all religious manuscripts. These manuscripts we have found in different languages: Sanskrit, Tamil, Prakrit. Now, the second type is secular books. Secular books are those books which are not related to religion. The theme of these books are not related to religion, and it is about the polity, it is about the administration, it is about the society, culture of that time period. Like for example, you can see here Megasthenes, which is a name of the person who visited India, and his book Indica. And the another one is Arthashastra, which was written by Kautilya. So these are all examples of secular book which are dealing not with the religion, but except that with the polity, with the society, or with the culture.